You know, Tape, you have got to be kidding me on how crazy shit has gotten. And I mean, shit has gone crazy that we have to talk about it. Now, I must say, spoiler warning for literally the final phase of Arc 9. And it's not done yet, but I want to make a few notes. One, yes, Roswell said his line, like, from the trial, and it's simply that I realized something. Oh wait, you know what? Maybe I should do it with the Roswell. Hold on. Oh wait, he's not here? No, he has to be here. Oh right, I forgot. Give me a second. Give me a second. What? I don't have him? That's a load of BS. Okay, whatever. I was gonna do a little Roswell VTuber thing, but I guess I can't. Damn. Damn it, that's so annoying. You know what? I'll just put a Roswell image up here. Anyway, so what I was gonna say was his line. His line being, it's simply that I realized something. That all these days I hadn't been walking alone after all. You know, something like that. Essentially, that is the line from the trial of Emilia, the third trial. It's putting that both Clint and Ezo are essentially kind of what made him realize he's not alone in all of this. Though they notice that Aldebaran is heading towards a location, knowing that this divine dragon was essentially halting them, while Aldebaran is going to the Grand Mogollon Geyser. And now we have to backtrack. All this is chapter 50, by the way. So we backtrack to the fight. Emilia and Rem are fighting Yay. They eventually do realize that Al had escaped. So the plan is they have Emilia go after Al using like literal wings. Like Aldebaran is using wings, Emilia is using wings. It's pretty impressive. And Rem stays behind and is fighting Yai. Yai. And I do like the interesting thing that thanks to the Rem with no memories and the Rem that was, obsessed with Subaru, that kind of mixture has made it that Rem wishes that she could speak to Priscilla because they created an interesting bond, and that bond doesn't just instantly go away. So yeah, I do find it interesting, and I did kind of call it in the sense that it would be fitting to have Rem and Yae fight because they're essentially each other's parallels of helping the one they love, even though Yae doesn't really admit that per se. Now, for chapter 51, it is a literal Yae Tenzen Tenzen chapter going about like how she is a shinobi, and a lot of interesting things in regards to like her training, how it's like emotions being something that's bad, her letting this one person that everyone thinks is Todd Fang escape, which I mean, honestly, I would not be surprised if that is the case, but not the point. I just find it all interesting, like even her meeting with Priscilla, how it is possible that Priscilla knew about who she was, and then going like straight into the fight between maids, essentially a former maid and a once again back at to status maid, and how she broke through Aldebaran's constantly saying your stars were bad, his iconic line, and how that kind of was the first time she basically was put in her place because she hates being known as the prodigy kind of thing. And I mean, she's a prodigy. Most people have in her life has put her like the prodigy type person. And the fact that she was beaten by someone like Aldebaran, which we will get to, it kind of mind broke her a bit. And yes, a lot of the reason that it's a close fight between the two is because Yaya kind of said fuck the no kill rule and just started going after Rem and trying to kill her, which actually helped Rem in the long run because Rem's I think Oni blood was able to detect like the bloodlust, so it helped her be able to handle Yaya. So if Yaya had actually fought Rem with not the intention to kill, Rem would have lost. And that's something that intrigues me, though I just find it interesting that obviously these two are like giving it their all, and yes, it did look like Yai actually got the win. Like she was able to actually pierce, I believe it was Rem's neck, if I'm not mistaken, because I'm kind of going off of memory a bit. And yet this did not work. Like Rem was able to recover from that. Like she had clearly gotten like Rem's neck, and Rem goes with an interesting line of "I wasn't exactly playing fair either," and yeah, that mark on Rem's neck slowly faded, and yeah, it seemed like there was something else at play. Now, something had saved Rem from being killed because she cheated, and I want to say she took a page from Priscilla's book in terms of how she takes damage and it actually goes to something else kind of thing. But nevertheless, it is interesting that whenever it comes on to Yaya being defeated and what was the cause, Rem still says that Yaya lost because of love. That Yaya, no matter how much she's like trying to push this idea that she can't love and it's against like the rules of a shinobi and stuff, she in a very twisted way she ended up loving Aldebaran, and I mean I'm not surprised. And just her kind of still losing her mind about like her stars were bad is pretty interesting. How those words haunted the hell out of her, and by the end of it, she kind of just accepts it in a way, like she rehears those words, and that's essentially it for Yaya from the looks of it. Like I don't think she's killed. I genuinely do not think so, but I definitely think this is the end of her story in terms of she's going to cause any more problems. Now, now, now we get to something very, very important, viewer. There are two chapters that really recontextualize everything, and I cannot, for the life of me, I just cannot, in good faith, go in right off the get-go without saying that this is like really, really big spoilers, because we're finally getting Aldebaran's past, and all in relation to him. I'm not gonna say every tiny detail that happened. That's not what I'm gonna do, because I don't really want to just look. There's so much, and my thought process here is it's kind of all over the place a little bit, but if there is anything that needs to be said, is that I'll say this: Aldebaran versus Emilia. Emilia is such a bothersome to Al that he's trying to pull the same trick he did in their first fight, and then we get the real flashback. Aldebaran is the creation of Echidna, and it's definitely a creation that goes back to the 400 years. And he is somebody that, as the witch would put it, Echidna, there is nobody who can defeat you, whom I created. And those words have haunted Aldebaran for a very, very long time. And trust me when I say this, when it comes down to those words, Aldebaran takes it to heart, and it is crazy. Now, I believe that Aldebaran was definitely created to be something to take down Satella, because the way he lost his arm was a fight against Satella. That was his first real loss, and that probably stung, because the words of "there is nobody who can defeat you, you whom I created," Echidna's words, still plagued his mind. Echidna's annoyed with him, and yet her mentioning Flugel's will. Now, that kind of thing is interesting, because I'm kind of curious, what exactly is Flugel's whole thing? We know he's a bit of an asshat because of how he left Shala behind and stuff from Arc 6. But what exactly is he, per se? Like, now it brings me more into questions of wanting to know about the past and all of the characters from the past. since that's essentially going to be the key factor on how they're going to have to beat Satella or stop her rampage. Because let's be real, she will escape, and it will turn into a mess. And then obviously, Echidna goes back to the same. There is nobody who can defeat you, you whom I created, and your stars were bad. Her saying that obviously is trying to just, in a way, I guess, say like, don't worry, you didn't lose because you suck. It's because your stars were just bad. It makes me think of Eldorado's kind of thing of the stars are not in position, and this is just kind of an excuse. I guess now that I kind of recontextualize everything, it's more of trying to excuse a failure that, oh, your stars were just simply bad, kind of thing. Like, oh, your luck was just bad. And then she all shamak him, and yes, he ended up in the Gladiator Island, like 400 years into the future. And oh my god, there is like so much I can say in regards to Aldebaran just ending up in the future. But anyway, we do continue like their fight between, like, this is now chapter 53, by the way, just so everyone's clear what chapter I'm in. Chapter 53 is more of Emilia and Al's battle still continuing, and the fact that Al had to readjust his plans, because no matter what he did, it seemed like Emilia was a good counter. He used himself as a hostage and had to kind of put that nice side of Emilia to not let him hurt himself, and that's how he got a cheap win out of against her. And I mean, in one hand, Aldebaran, you sly fox, can't win without being a cheap bastard, but on the other hand, I mean, he kind of did what he needed to do, I guess. But we backtrack to his flashback, where he does like the Sparka stuff, how everyone was surprised he even won it, but it's more because he had the words, there is nobody whom can defeat you, you whom I created. That kept haunting him a lot throughout, and it's crazy throughout the chapter, because it's essentially what keeps him pushing on and on and on and on. And how Al was known as the creepy guy who's trying to like ask about things of the past, the witches and stuff, which would obviously gather people to hate him, because the gladiators were surprised he even survived. And I genuinely think that him being like one of the later survivors who survived a lot of the stuff that happened, and then obviously having stopped asking about the witches because it's kind of taboo. So all the people he had asked, and they know him as, oh, he's a witch cultist kind of guy, they died out because, you know, Aldebaran. If anyone kind of knew that he was looking for the witches and stuff, it'd be bad for him. But it does seem like over time, like Echidna, the memory of Echidna begins to fade, and he obviously starts to have a mental panic attack of, am I just making shit up? Am I real? What is going on? Is this fake? Or are those memories fake? Well, like, he starts to internalize himself as, am I making shit up? And obviously, hearing this goes into like the EX novel with like Priscilla's whole stuff and the candidates in relation to Wallachia, like that kind of moves to that point. But he does decide that he needs to kind of confirm the existence of the witches, so he gets away from the Gladiator Island, dying a bunch of times to the water mob beasts, and he manages to lure out Betelgeuse. Like, there is something about that that throws me off, and it is that he actually fought Betelgeuse, or at least forced the Sin Archbishop of Sloth out, just to get a confirmation on things. And once he confirmed what he needed to confirm, he fucked off. He basically dipped and said, alright, I got my answer, peace, and then, you know, started being with, like, Priscilla and all that, and he basically disappeared from the witches cult's radar. And this also, like, his whole past ends with Al in the sanctuary, like, reunited with Echidna, who says the iconic line of, why does love fade? And man, oh man, this is probably tragic in the sense that this isn't the same echidna as the one he was trained by, created by. This one's a little more, what would you call it? More manipulative, less feelings, and it is really insane. And then we go back to present time. Emilia's passed out because of the boulder stuff. He feels bad, but I mean, he didn't really have a choice according to all the looping he did. And just as like he's like in Karagi already, and he's about to like do his thing of throwing Subaru out of the world, he reflects back on, oh, how is everyone doing? He thinks on like Roy, that he needs Roy for whatever plan for cleanup. I believe that was what he needs him for. Which, I mean, dude, Roy got fucked. And then, Alcanica, he needs Alcanica to do something, but he also got fucked. And yeah, once he like climbs up to this geezer, like he almost gets hit with one of Emilia's icicles that was fired while she was unconscious. Which, I mean, I gotta admit, Emilia, that was pretty damn good. And guess what happens at the end of the chapter? Like, literally guess what happens. Dude gets so caught off guard that there's a bunch of fucking... Felt and apparently others have arrived, and Felt basically says that he looks like shit, which, I mean, he does. And yeah, that's how it ends, with literally that. Tappe, what the fuck? Like, I was about to make the video with just 3 chapters. I was content with, like, doing the 3 chapters. But then right as I'm about to start, ooh, another chapter appeared. Motherfucker, give me time. Anyway, watch. I do this and then another chapter comes in. Anyway, if that happens, I'm gonna be pissed. But let me break down what I think. Like, fully what I think. This is the section of fully kind of unraveling everything and then kind of theorizing. So, Yaya is defeated. Like, that is clear. She was the last obstacle. We got to see her backstory. It's probably related to Todd, which I wouldn't be surprised because, you know, Todd's a sneaky little fuck. And yes, it's all insane. Like, all of this is insane. But I do like how Rem sort of cheated to win. Like, Rem had such a disadvantage that entire fight. And you gotta keep in mind, Rem is not a prodigy per se. Rem is the prodigy. She had the potential to become the Oni god. Rem was not. The fact that Rem beat a prodigy through obviously using ulterior means, as well as the fact that Yaya just said fuck the no-kill rule, it kind of put Yaya in a position where she kind of lost because of her own decisions, and obviously Rem kind of having foresight to kind of cheat. Which, I mean, I love it. I really love it, because the last time we saw Rem, like, have a big fight, it was against Regulus, the Bastard, and Libat and Kaidos. Like, she stood no chance against those powerhouses. Well, one of them was broken, and the other one, I mean, she could put up a fight, but let's be real, Lai was toying with her. And yet, here, she defeats a prodigy, by the way, like, someone who is pretty skilled and could actually match Olbart, the third. What was the lineup? It was number 3 in like the 9 divine generals of Wallachia. So that should tell you what level Yaya is, and she still lost by probably her own incompetence. But I wouldn't say incompetence, because incompetence implies that she's stupid. I guess just miscalculating on how to handle this situation. Emilia losing actually shocked me, because I did not think she would lose. Now, to be fair, Al is kind of an annoying, busted antagonist. And honestly, I think he's at his final ropes. If he needed Roy and Alcanica for his plan, then his plan went to shit, because those two are defeated. And Felt being there and just kind of subsiding him is interesting. Like, don't get me wrong. This shit is just all over the place of just Felt essentially probably gonna get payback for all the shit he caused her and caused Old Man Rom. If old Felt is, I think Felt's line is going to come into play. I think her, what was it? I don't remember her line per se. I'll probably put it on the screen what her like trial line was, but I think it's coming. And I genuinely think if Petra's there, then it's game over for Al. Because Petra has Subaru, and Subaru is a counter to Al. Maybe not in the sense because they can't use Return by Death, unless, you know, they do the Great Reset Theory, which let's hope not. If that happens, then, I mean... if that happens, I mean, if Petra's there, like, Al's fucked. Subaru's gonna know a way to counter it. Like, he's a gamer. He's gonna know, and obviously he's all this other stuff. He's an otaku. He'll know shit on how to handle annoyances like that. But, also, melancholy. Pretty busted as hell. Anyway, now, my theory is that Al is probably gonna for sure beat Felt. I don't think Felt's gonna be the one to really put the nail in the coffin. There's one or two people. Petra? No, three people. Petra, Emilia, who just wakes up again, or Rem. My bet's on Rem because it would make sense for her to save Subaru, but I also would feel like Petra would need it because she's had Subaru this whole time, or Arc 4 Subaru, but at this point, you can really go either way. I wouldn't really complain either way. But, yeah, that is the latest stuff with Arc 9, chapters 50 to 53. Tap 8, you've done it again. Anyways, this is Green Warrior 291 signing out. Peace.